YouTube! My name is Sabrina and I'm with
Miss Al-Hanooti.
Yeah, my AP Lit, awesome AP Lit teacher. She should deserve to raise.
Yes. More money, please.
This Reviewsday Tuesday video, we're going to review That Tattooed Soldier
By Hector Tobar.
Hector Tobar. So you probably haven't heard about this book because I haven't heard about it. It's not really talked about in BookTube or any place, and I think it's a really underrated book. By the way, look at this cover. This is so hardcore. Okay, so this
very different from
like
that.
Yeah, it's like they're not best friends.
Yeah, very different times.
They don't like each
places.
other. Yeah, it was like it was awesome to shift all of a sudden from this Victorian place to like the 90s. 5 out of 5 in Goodreads. You should totally read it if you're a human being. This is like my ultimate as opposed to Frankenstein. Because come on guys, this is a contemporary, sort of contemporary, and it has all the things. It has action, feelings. I call them feels. It has many feels. They gave you lots of feels, and it has wonderful writing, well-rounded story, and characters, and everything is perfect about this book. You couldn't see like a flaw in this book, and you should totally read this. This is like the best book I read this year so far, and I didn't expect it to like it that much.
She likes Jane Austen.
Yeah, and Harry Potter. Harry Potter is awesome. Here we'll talk a brief summary about this book if you're interested, because it's really awesome. It's about this guy called Antonio, who lives in Los Angeles in the 1990s. He's a refugee from the Guatemalan Civil War. By the way, in the 90s it was like this civil war in Guatemala, and a lot of people left, and there were like bad people and good people fighting, and a lot of people died. That's the point. A lot of people died. And he's a refugee. He's really poor, and he's homeless, and he's trying to survive and coping with the deaths of his wife and child. And this also is a book that is narrated from 2 points of view. The other guy's name is Longoria. He's an ex-general from the Guatemalan army, and he's in Los Angeles too, and he's trying to just like escape his past and continue living. And and there's also like riots, and this Rodney King riots take place in here, and there were like stuff happening.
The climax of the story really is set as the Rodney King riots are coming to a climax as well. So the story builds and builds and builds, as does the tension from the riots. So it's really neat that Tobar sets those storylines in the same time.
Yeah, there's so many stuff incorporated in one book, and it doesn't feel like much, but you can feel them all. It's like
and the feeling of chaos. So just to add a little bit to that summary, Guillermo, or Longoria, is the soldier responsible for killing Antonio's wife and baby because he was sent on a mission to kill any of the subversives, and anyone who is a college student was seen as such. So his wife and baby are slaughtered in his home, and he comes home to find their bodies and escapes to Los Angeles, which is where he recognizes the soldier just by his jaguar tattoo. So that begins the story of the revenge.
And that's why it's called The Tattooed Soldier. And by the way, it's not a spoiler, it's in the back of the book, so don't believe it. So we're going to talk about our feelings. And
feelings?
Yeah. You have feelings, right?
I think I might have it.
I don't have either.
Well, let's hear what's
It was because of her cousins on my movie. It has everything. It's a book of everything. All the things.
I want to start by talking about something that I personally really enjoyed talking about, was the relationship between Antonio and his wife, because I think I get a lot of disagreement from my students about that relationship, and I thought it was such a beautiful relationship, but all of my 11th grade students found flaws in their relationship. And granted, it wasn't a perfect relationship, but I don't think any relationship is perfect.
No relationship is perfect, and they're used to like reading these relationships that are like completely perfect. And I think that I Yeah, that really shocked me too while we were discussing this book during class, because everybody was saying, oh, Elena is too bossy and she wants to change him. But I think it's not that way. Elena loves Antonio and she just wants to make him better, and she sees the good qualities in him.
And would we have characterized Elena negatively if she were a man?
Yeah, exactly. That was the main point that I thought, because everybody was like, oh, she should have not bossed him around.
Or actually, if both were reversed, if Elena was the man and Antonio was the woman, arguably they would have a perfect relationship.
Yeah, supposedly. That's also, yeah, that's like...
I had this conversation with someone, as you guys know, as my students. I don't shy away from saying things. But I was in a meeting the other day and I had someone tell me that I was very fiery. I was a man, and it was playful. It wasn't meant to be offensive, because I was very vocal and I was speaking on behalf of a large group of teachers. But yeah, I was told that I was fiery, and it's interesting because that quality would be seen as very positive if I had different genitals, right? So would I have been called fiery playfully if I were a man, or if I were a man, would I be someone who commands respect? And would it be a respected trait? So it's interesting that the things that Elena possessed in terms of personality and character are really strong things. She tries to change herself to make herself a better mother. She tries to understand and appreciate how different Antonio is. And that's one of the things that kind of attract her to him.
The thing that I really like the most in this book is that there was like this blurring between what is good and evil. Because at the beginning of the novel, when you start reading from Longoria's point of view, you just want to hate him and you think that he's so bad, a bad person. But then you realize that he was abducted as a child. He was forced into the military, and he was basically brainwashed into thinking those horrible things about other human beings and killing innocent people. And then you feel sorry about him, and you're like, poor guy. And you maybe think about if people are that way themselves, or they're just made from the environment that way. And the same thing with Antonio. At the start of the novel, you think he's like 100% good and pure and innocent, but then he does like some actions that prove him otherwise. And I think that makes the novel really realistic. That nobody's fully evil or good. Everybody's just in the middle. And also at the end of the book, all the people in the riots showed that thing about human beings. People that were oppressed started to destruct things, and that's really cool. And you get all confused and philosophical about life, and that's like you don't know who's good and evil anymore. You don't know who's a good person or a bad person. You think about what makes a good and a bad person.
Yeah, the end, I agree.
The ending was amazing. It was so beautiful, and it captured all the essence of the book so perfectly. It was so well written. There's the question about, are we born racist, or are we made being racist? Which is also a central theme in the novel, because there's also a lot of racial oppression between classes and races. So what's your thoughts about it?
The idea that that we are created with a sense of superiority is crazy to me. And I think it's impossible, because I don't think you could be racist and be good. I really don't. I think that racism, I don't know, I think it's at the root of any major social problem. If someone really believes that he or she is better than someone else just based on something arbitrary like skin color, there's no way we can evolve as a society. And I just don't believe that. I don't believe that we're born racist. Not for a moment. It's just
so big.
It's crazy to me that I had as many students present this to me as a possibility. I was really upset by it. In fact, I had a number of conversations with other teachers, and said our students are really racist. And I was so upset for days after this conversation. How many students were like, "Oh, yeah, I can see that." yeah, I think I was born racist. You know what I mean? Like, and not directly admitting about themselves, but there's this thing that we do as humans. We make assumptions that everyone thinks the way we do. So by making the blanket statement that we are born racist, it's because you're racist. So that to me was really, really concerning, and I think it's worth breaking down as much as we can help, because racism just breeds anything bad, everything that is wrong with the society.
And I had like this deep desire that I wanted to be blonde and have blue eyes. And that really...
I remember, because when I was a little girl, I had very light hair. And there were these, and so it was me, my sister, and my adopted sister, who's black. My mother bought us 3 different dolls. There was a black baby doll for my adopted sister. There was one with dark hair and dark eyes for my full sister. And then there was one with like light hair and blue eyes for me. And I was just like, well, this is odd, I don't have blue eyes. You know what I mean? But like, my mom was just trying to get 3 different ones. So that it would be kind of, I don't know, I think it would be really screwed up if she got us all blonde and blue dolls. Because what does that say then about my sister's skin complexion? That it's not acknowledged, or that it's not, I don't know.
Valid.
Yeah, it's not as valid.
That's really interesting.
And that memory stands out to me so much. I was only 7, but I remember those dolls. And
So comment down below what you think about racism, guys.
yeah, down with racism.
Yeah, and another thing that stood out to me is the concept of metacognition. You mentioned about thinking about how we think, about our philosophy and our thoughts, and that's a thing that it's the concerns about racism. Like thinking that racism is innate is wrong, and you should think about like how you view racism and racist
And think about why. Think about like
Why?
what routes has your brain taken to come to any one conclusion, and why is it that we think about everything the way we do? Why is it that certain things make us happy, certain things make us uncomfortable? What about those things make us uncomfortable? Why do we get upset about things? You know what I mean? Why do we follow a certain religion? Why do we, any of these things? And it doesn't necessarily break it down. It doesn't make your belief system fall apart. Chances are it'll make your belief system, stronger.
because you understand them better and their background. And all thanks to this novel, guys. So it's a two-talker, guys, by Hector Tobar. You should totally read this. And thank you, Ms. Al-Hanooti, for introducing me to this wonderful book. And now I'm passing the knowledge to you. Here, take it. Take it. Thank you. Okay, now that you took it, we will say goodbye. Goodbye. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share with your friends. Have a nice day. Have